Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Trey, and I want to talk about Miles Morales. The upcoming Miles Morales game got me thinking about like how we as comic book readers and stuff like that, naysayers and stuff like that, we kind of owe Miles Morales an apology. Um, and I know what some people thinking because there are some people who feel like Miles is a tokenized black Spider-Man character or whatever, even though he's like black and Puerto Rican and stuff like that. But the reason why I'm saying this is because I'm thinking about, wait, hold on. I like Miles Morales. I think he's a cool character, stuff like that. He could use a little bit more work, and I feel like Marvel is starting to, find a little bit more, way more to get comfortable with the character. But I just remembered, like, I also like Ben Riley. I also liked it. Kane Parker. I liked it. Miguel O'Connor, who was Hispanic as well. You know, to have them all as Spider-Man before, and there was no fuss about them being Spider-Man. But as soon as we get to Miles Morales, everybody kind of outraged. And then I thought about it. I was just like, well, darn, that kind of makes me sort of like a hypocrite because I also like those characters, and those are kind of like tokenized versions of Peter themselves. You got two of them that are clones, and then you got one that's a Hispanic version of him in the year 2099. Even though it's not really Peter Parker, it's still Mexican person as Spider-Man. And then I thought about it. The reason why I thought about it is because I was thinking about the Flash as well. And my favorite Flash is Wally West, the third Flash, the best Flash, if you ask me. I don't care what nobody say. And I'm talking about the white one, not that black one. Now that black one, that was definitely a tokenized crap that we're not even going to discuss. I think he was such a horrible choice. But I get that they're trying to like differentiate him or whatever. But it's still weird that they even brought him into DC Universe. But yeah, the first Flash was Jay Garrett, and then after that it was Barry Allen, and then you had, Wally West, and then you had Bart Allen. So it's kind of funny when you hear people say, "Oh, Miles Morales is a tokenized version or whatever and stuff like that," because there are characters that are. But I really feel like with Miles falls into that different category where he's more like a legacy character in like not forced, because a lot of people have to remember he was introduced in the Ultimate Universe. So we all know that Peter Parker had died in that universe, and then people were upset. But it's just like, you have to remember, this is another universe, so of course they're allowed to do whatever they can do in that universe, more so than they could in the main continuity, because we still do have Peter Parker and stuff like that. It'll be like if Peter Parker showed up in 2099, which wouldn't make any sense, because it'd be like, wait, hold on, this character should be dead a long time ago. So you kind of have to think about it like that. So why not let this character do his own thing? Now, it's not like he's replacing him, because a lot of people think that, oh yeah, because Brian Michael Bendis created him, and we do know that Brian Michael Bendis had a reason for creating Miles. But I think if we ignore that kind of thing and let Miles be, because I feel like he's one of those diversity characters that actually is being done actually properly than most of the characters and stuff like that. I just feel like because he was the lead in charge of like, okay, here goes another character that's not white taking over the role of a white character. And then when Miles came, it popped off this whole thing about, let's change all of the classic characters. And it's just like, no, it really wasn't supposed to be like that. But because they saw that kind of push for Miles, it was kind of like Miles was the catalyst of the whole, let's take these classical characters and race swap them, which they shouldn't have done in the first place. Because the thing about it is, Miles was in his own universe, Peter was still in the main continuity, and if you wanted to read Miles, you had to read another continuity. Same thing with Spider-Man 2099. If you wanted to read Miguel O'Hara, you had to read another universe, basically the 2099 timeline. So it's kind of funny, like when we get mad about Miles, but nobody gets mad at 2099. You know what I'm saying? Or Spider-Man Noir. You know, you know, is kind of contradictory and that kind of stuff. And I just was thinking about, how I kind of do need to owe him an apology, because there are some diversity characters that really are there just to be a character, because we do know that it would make sense that eventually Peter would have a sidekick that would have the same powers as him, even though, yes, there are a lot of characters or whatever. But I feel like the reason why Miles exists really is to have that high school Spider-Man. You know, people been wanting Peter Parker to grow up for a long time anyway. You have Miles as that role, and I feel like Marvel kind of don't want to let go, but they do want to let go. So it's kind of in that weird little position where you have Miles Morales that could be that teen Spider-Man, while Peter can be that adult Spider-Man. But with the MCU, they kind of took Miles' story, gave it to Peter Parker, and then we're kind of like stuck in between this thing where people say they don't like Miles Morales, but you're watching the MCU Spider-Man, which the MCU Spider-Man is heavily based off of Miles Morales, from the Ultimate comic book line. So it's kind of hard to kind of be like, what are we gonna do? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was just a little thought that I was thinking about, because I know there are some diversity characters, and I know the whole DC Future Slate stuff is coming up as well. And the reason why I'm saying that a lot of the stuff now is pandering, because you can tell a lot of that stuff is pandering where there isn't any real thought about it. Yes, Brian Michael Bendis said the reason why is because President Obama got elected, and then he was like, hey, what if we had a Black Spider-Man in this new universe? Because we already have a Peter Parker in the main continuity. He'll always be there. But what if in a new continuity you have this new kid who happens to be Black and Puerto Rican as the new Spider-Man? Because New York is racially diverse, so it would make sense for that character to pop up eventually in the world of Marvel. So yeah, it was just a little thought, and because I know some people would be like, wait, well, how come you don't like the characters from DC Universe or All New, All Different Marvel? Because All New, All Different Marvel and Future State is still pandering. Like, we know Kamala Khan was a pandering thing. We already know that, Yara Floyd is pandering. We know that Luke Fox as Batman is pandering. We know that. We know that there's really no thought of these characters being put in, and there's no build up for them. At least with Miles, you can say there was some build up for him. At least with Wally West, there was some build up for it. At least with Spider-Man 2099, it was a build up for it. These characters are just popping out of nowhere, and it was just like, oh, I'm either Muslim, or I'm Black, or I'm Asian, or I'm gay, or I'm transsexual, or something like that. And that's literally it about those characters. You really can't tell me nothing about half of the new characters that they introduced, you know. So it's just a little thought that I was thinking about. But yeah, that was a quick little video about Miles Morales, and I'm really excited about the video game. I can't wait to play it and stuff like that. Even though Insomniac still screwed up Peter's face and stuff like that, I'm gonna have to get over it. But I still can't wait to play the video game. So, I'm really excited. But yeah, that was my little video. Tell me what you guys think. Drop a like, a comment, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.